Okay, it looks like it's 2 o'clock, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining the UW System Virtual Career Trek featuring Royal Credit Union and hosted by UW Eau Claire. My name is Alyssa Slaby. I'm a career counselor in the Advising, Retention, and Career Center at UW Eau Claire, and I'm excited to welcome you all here for today's event. Before we get started, I'd like to extend some thank yous. So I'd like to say thank you to Haley Carr from UW Superior for managing the Career Trek technology and setting up Zoom for us today. I'd also like to thank the Career Trek Committee for organizing and planning this year's events. And I'd like to share a big thank you with Jen McHugh and Jody Berg from Royal Credit Union for sharing their time with us today and presenting information on Royal Credit Union. I'm really looking forward to it. So if you haven't done so, please go ahead and complete that registration form that's located in the chat feature of Zoom. This will allow us to track your attendance and also share that information with your university. Their career treks are being recorded, and you can find a recording of the event on the website listed on the screen or on the slide. And this week's career trek will be uploaded within the next week. Next week's career trek will feature Heartland Business Systems and hosted by UW Stout. So if you are interested in that event, please register on Handshake. That event will be held next Wednesday at 2 p.m. We will also be doing a live poll. So if you can go ahead and please complete the poll noting which university you're attending and what year in school you are, that's going to help the presenters and myself know who's in the virtual audience today. And I'd like to say, if you do have any questions throughout the trek today, please add them to the chat. Jen and Jody will be answering questions after the presentation today. So as you're listening, if anything pops into your mind in terms of a question, please add that to the chat. Okay, so thank you all for participating in the poll today. As you can see, we've got a good mix of individuals here today. So thank you for that. At this time, I'm going to turn the trek over to Royal Credit Union and Jen and Jody, and I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
All right, everyone. My name is Jody Berg. I am the Organizational Relations and Recruiting Manager here at Royal Credit Union. In my role, I oversee the employee relations piece, the recruiting of team members with Royal Credit Union. I've been with Royal really only since October of 2020, so relatively short amount of time. I had been working in human resources at another organization for the past 11 years, and I was really, essentially happy in my role there. But what drew me to Royal was really their culture, the people, and really the community involvement. I've been here about 5 months now, and I've had the opportunity to see the values that you'll learn a bit more about really lived each day and taken into consideration with each decision that's made. So I'm really happy to be here at Royal, and I'm excited for Jen and I to share a little bit more about Royal with you today. Welcome, everyone.
So I will introduce myself. I'm Jen McHugh. I'm the Vice President of Community Engagement at Royal Credit Union. I've been with the credit union for 10 years and I just really love my job. We, in community engagement, we are the PR people. So we do our media relations, we do our credit union advocacy, events, sponsorships. We are the liaisons to the Royal Credit Union Foundation, which we have our own RCU Foundation, which is a separate entity, but we work closely with that board, and also have a robust financial education program. So 29 school sites in credit union, in high schools and grade schools and middle schools. So just do a lot of really fun work. And I am my undergraduate degree was in journalism. I always think it's interesting for college students to know kind of what path we took. My first several years in a professional career, I was a television news reporter and then transitioned into PR. So it's been a fun journey, and I am just so grateful to be able to work for Royal Credit Union, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit more about it today. So let's go back to the beginning. A gallon of gas cost 25 cents. The Ford Mustang made its debut, and a small credit union opened its doors in the Royal Tire plant in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Of course, I am talking about Royal Credit Union, and the year was 1964 when we first started. Royal was created for what's called a select employee group, or SEG. It's the way a lot of credit unions start, in that they're formed to support a specific employee group. So in this case, it was for those individuals that worked at Royal Tire plant. In that first year, Royal had about 3 employees, so it was small, and about 100 members, and they were all made up of just workers at the tire plant and their families. So very, very humble beginnings for our credit union. You can see there's one of our very first board of directors meeting there with the gentleman sitting around the table, and then you see some pictures from the actual tire plant. We've had very organic growth over the years, and you can kind of see, I started you in 1964, but then I've listed kind of some of the ways and steps we took over the years in our growth. In 1975, the board of directors for the credit union made a very critical decision, and that was to apply for a community charter. And what that means is the credit union, when they were granted that community charter, was then able to serve people who lived, worked, or went to school in a certain area, instead of only being employees or related to employees of the tire plant. So that is why you have a Royal Credit Union still surviving and thriving in Eau Claire long after the Royal Tire plant closed its doors and left town, because we have that community charter. So you can see we kind of have, grew over the years from those, 3 employees to and 100 members to 100 million assets in 1984. 1993, the credit union leaders made a big decision to start the School Sense program, which I talked about a little bit in my opening, where we have those credit unions actually in schools. By 2002, we'd grown to 100,000 members, and by 2009, up to $1 billion in assets. So that was a big finish line crosser for us. Also want to point out the picture on the lower left of the screen. You can see that's the ribbon cutting of the corporate center, which if any of you students have traveled, if you attend UW Eau Claire, you've seen it, or if you're attending one of the other universities in the system, you may have seen the Royal Credit Union Corporate Center in downtown Eau Claire. It's kind of a beacon in the area. We're pretty proud of it, and it really spurred a lot of economic growth in the downtown community when Royal made that decision to build its corporate center right downtown Eau Claire, there at the confluence of the rivers. So Royal today, and there you can see that building that I was just talking about, a kind of a cool nighttime picture in the winter. Looks cold, but kind of cozy. So you want to just sit back and have a coffee or a cup of hot chocolate looking at that picture. But there's also some pretty important statistics that I've included on this slide. Today, Royal is $3.4 billion in assets. So, when you consider financial institutions, we certainly don't come close to, in size to the major national banks. But when you compare Royal to other credit unions, we are in the top 100 credit unions in the country. We have a robust business lending portfolio, and are one of the largest business lenders for credit unions in the country, mortgage lending, and of course, in addition to all of those wonderful traditional banking services that you would think of. We have over 235,000 members today, 650 team members. At Royal, we call employees team members. So you'll hear me refer to that. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's the same thing as employees, but we like to consider ourselves a team. And so that's how we refer to each other. Obviously, our corporate headquarters are in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and I talked about that. I wanted to give you, though, a little bit bigger picture of Royal Credit Union. We have a much larger geographic reach than just Eau Claire or the Chippewa Valley. We might be most known for our presence in those communities, but we have offices in the St. Croix Valley and also the Twin Cities Metro. We have a presence in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Overall, we serve 42 counties in Wisconsin and Minnesota. So when you are a credit union, you have what's called your field of membership. So it's the different counties you're able to serve. So in order, when you're a community chartered credit union, in order to be able to join the credit union, you must live, work, or go to school in one of the counties within their field of membership. So we can serve lots of different members, and we don't have offices in every county that we can serve, but we can do business with you. We have 22 offices. So those are, freestanding branches where we conduct business. And then I mentioned those 29 student-run credit unions. We're pretty proud of those. We have a core ideology at Royal that is very, very important to us. And it's really, it guides all of our decisions we make, the actions we take, the choices we make. And that core purpose is to create a positive impact in the lives we touch. It's very, very simple, gives every team member something to reflect on if they're thinking about interacting with our members or each other. That is always our driving purpose, is to create that positive impact. And then we have a really wonderful set of core values, make a difference, make it easy, do the right thing, be caring, take ownership, and be friendly, nice, and respectful. So those core purpose and values are really what guide us. We are also very, very committed to our community. You can see here in the pictures, kind of gives you an idea of some of the different ways that we connect. But Royal team members volunteer over 3,000 hours each year to local charities, community projects, civic groups. Over 82,000 credit union members benefit from financial counseling offered to them from Royal Credit Union. The RCU Foundation, I mentioned, we have that separate entity. That organization has awarded nearly $5 million in gifts to make an impact in the communities we serve. One of the most notable, and one that many of you as students may be aware of, is the main auditorium in the Pablo Center, is the RCU Foundation Theater that was donated by funds from the foundation to help build that. So we have a long line of community support and projects in many different communities, not just in the Chippewa Valley. We also support businesses through our lending programs. I mentioned that we have a large business lending portfolio, and it supports community development by helping those entrepreneurs, small dollar business loans, a lot of them under 50,000. And in the past year, I know one of the more popular programs that a lot of people have talked about is the PPP program, Paycheck Protection Program, that was put out by the federal government. We administered over 1,200 of those loans totaling $52.1 million. And that was money that went directly into the hands of those business owners so that they could keep their doors open during the pandemic. Finally, I wanted to talk just for a minute about the fact that Royal Credit Union is a community development financial institution. It's also called CDFI. That is a federal government certification by the US Department of Treasury. And because we are a certified community development financial institution, we've received 3 grants totaling $4.6 million. And it's really a cool program. What the federal government does is they will grant financial institutions that are CDFI certified money to use for loan loss reserves. So we're able to give consumer loans and home loans to people who might not normally qualify and might be considered a little bit riskier. They are typically low income, but think about it. If you live in Barron County and you need a job, you're out of work, there's no bus system in Barron County. You cannot depend on public transportation to get to work. But if you don't have enough money to buy a vehicle, how can you then get a job? So those individuals like that who might be low income, might not be able to qualify for a loan, can come to Royal, get a good low interest rate to buy a vehicle so they can gain employment. And through our partnership with the federal government in the CDFI program, we're able just to make sure that the credit union doesn't experience too many losses. So it's a great, great program. So why Royal? So if you love learning, growing, and collaborating with team members who become like family in a fun, always evolving, values-driven environment, then Royal Credit Union is for you. Consider a career with us. At Royal, we really are about creating that positive impact for our members, team members, and our communities. And as a Royal team member, you'll help empower our members to reach their goals while continuing to develop professionally. So that's my official sales pitch, but don't just take my word for it. I want to let our CEO and other team members tell you why we feel that Royal Credit Union really is a fantastic place to work.
Momentum is building in the city of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. It's buzzing, evolving, and coming into its own. It's the right place at the right time to grow your career and live your life to the fullest. And a leading company like Royal Credit Union can help you do just that. Positioned at the confluence of 2 rivers, Eau Claire offers all the amenities of city living, complete with a wealth of culture, events, music, sports, and a bustling nightlife. And while it's not hard to stay busy in the city, if you need space, you're just minutes from the serene countryside, wooded trails, and shimmering lakes. It's a place where families take root in friendly, affordable neighborhoods with great schools and spacious parks. And regardless of the season, there's always something to do with the whole crew. That's because it's a community that likes to do things, to experience, to learn, to work together, and to grow together. At Royal Credit Union, a forward-thinking organization that has been a part of Eau Claire for more than 50 years, you can grow with your company and with your community.
This community is all about people helping people. As the community thrives, so does Royal Credit Union. So we know that if we support the community, then in turn, that helps us as an organization.
Something that makes this community so great is it's growing. Every year there seems to be something else going in. You no longer need to go to the cities, Madison, Milwaukee, Chicago to go attend events when they're right here in Eau Claire.
And while RCU has invested in this community for decades, they also know that investing in their team members and their goals is a key to building a thriving company culture.
Royal has such a culture that supports one another in whatever you choose to do, whether it's staying in your current position or moving. It truly is a special organization.
Royal Credit Union has given me many tools. My immediate coach and mentor are always asking me, where do I want to go? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? you really get that feeling that your supervisors want to see you succeed.
Royal Credit Union is a very progressive organization, and we're making lots of investment in technology and marketing to continue to grow. We offer a robust leadership program and constantly are looking to develop our team members for their next career path. We truly make every decision based on our core values, and we align our people and our culture to those.
Here in Eau Claire, new endeavors bring people together every day, and still more opportunities are on the horizon. This small city on the water is the perfect place to pursue old interests and discover new ones. A place to find your home and your career.
Let's talk a little bit about the career opportunities that are available at Royal. So, I talked a little bit earlier about, the different kind of jobs that we have, traditional things you think of associated with a financial institution. Obviously the things that pop to mind first are tellers, member account representatives, maybe a home lender. You think of that, but really there's a lot that goes into making a financial institution run. And so I wanted to give you just an overview of how our credit union is constructed. So we have our CEO. You saw him for a minute in the video that wasn't cooperating, but he is fantastic. He is a UW Eau Claire graduate, so we're very proud of him. He's got both, I believe, his undergraduate and his MBA from UW Eau Claire. And he leads a team of 6 executives, and they're responsible for the following business units. So if you think about it, it makes sense. We have digital experience and marketing, obviously, with online banking and, using this to conduct your financial transactions, to have that digital experience team is important. And marketing, of course, is a key element of most businesses. Of course, as you would expect, we have finance at a credit union. So, busy accounting department and controller, and we have a CFO who's our executive, does a lot of work on, not only our balance sheets and things like that, but, also closely monitoring the economy. That's an important part of that role of the finance department. Lending, I talked about business lending, home lending, consumer lending. We talked about getting a car loan. If you want a boat, we can try to make that happen for you. Snowmobiles, toys, we do a lot of ATV, all those kinds of fun things. Home equity line of credit, if you're, looking to make an improvement on your house, we do that kind of thing. Then we have a very, very busy technology department. Obviously, tech is key, and, those people working on the digital experience, well, we need to make sure the stuff on the back end works to support it. So those 2 departments work closely. And then, obviously, boy, never has tech been more important than in the last year, and getting us working from all kinds of different places. And it didn't work out so well for me today, but we made it happen, and that's not their fault. I'm not quite sure what happened, but and then member experience, that area is the traditional area that you would think of when you think of a credit union. Member experience is all of our branch operations, our tellers, our member account representatives, our branch managers and branch leadership. So all that stuff that goes into making our member experience really, really excellent, which we think it is, and we strive to make sure it is contained in the member experience area. And then the last kind of focus area is organizational agility. And that's kind of an all-encompassing area for things that really both, impact our team members and our members and our communities internally and externally. So Jody and I are both part of the the OA team, and report to the same executive. And so that's, human relations, talent relations, organizational developments of all of our training is in that, technical writing, shared project services, which is a big department we have that's doing all that organizational planning. And when we decide to do new things or take on new initiatives, the shared project services really lead us through that process. We're very intentional about our planning and implementation of things. And then community engagement, where I live, that is in the organizational agility area. We have over 200 job descriptions at Royal. So there's a lot of different opportunities available to our team members. And we very much take internal promotions and leadership development, career pathing is something very serious and institutionalized at Royal. We have some really fantastic leadership development programs available. We also have some fantastic internship opportunities. We currently have 12 interns who are paid team members at Royal, very much high contributors and very depended on. We love our interns for what they can bring: fresh perspectives, new ideas, and really in some cases they are more advanced in areas than others. I can give an example. In my department, we have 2 internships. You can see community engagements on the list, and one of our interns, she happens to go to UW Eau Claire. She's really great on SPSS, and has helped us do some surveying for some different programs and initiatives we were considering, and some analysis on our responses through her work in that. So we very much appreciate the value that interns bring to us. And in turn, we like to provide you with that value back. So we're trying to give you well-rounded experiences. We're trying to help you prepare to take the next step in your career, whatever that is. Of course, we love the idea of keeping our interns, and have certainly had success stories where that's worked out. But that really isn't our primary motivation. Our primary motivation isn't to fill our own talent pool. It is to help students achieve success, and then for us to be able to benefit from some of the great skills and ideas you bring to the table as our interns. So you can see there: accounting and auditing, business process analyst, digital marketing, mortgage, HR. Jody's got a fantastic intern in her department that I'm sure she can speak to later if you guys have some more questions about internships. And then program analyst and technical writing. So lots of good opportunities. They vary in length. So typically, I would say the average internship is a year, but we have some that go a little bit longer, or some that go a little bit shorter. So it just depends on the opportunity you look for. I can tell you that we're typically recruiting for interns typically in the fall, and then they start in the spring. But again, some are aligned a little bit differently. So it really varies by position. Just wanted to go through a few of the team member benefits, because we have fantastic ones, and want to share a few of those with you. I'm not going to read them all, but of course, the time off, that's important. And Royal's just a really fantastic employer. I can give you an example. Right now the waves are starting to open up, and for the vaccine, and we're wondering how we're going to get one. Royal's providing every team member with paid time off if they can't schedule to get the vaccine outside of their outside of their normal workday, if they have to schedule it within their workday, you know, paid time off to go get your shot, because we realize that that is something that will be important to a lot of people. So in addition to all those other wonderful time off benefits, I did want to talk a little bit about the educational opportunities. Our company is fabulous with training and development programs. We have a fantastic tuition assistance program. I am a direct beneficiary of that, and am 2 months away from graduating with my master's degree in strategic communication. And the company is pretty much paid for my entire degree. So when you think about that opportunity to be able to go and get my master's degree and have my company support me, you know, not only, you know, personally and allowing me to grow and develop, but then to, you know, to pay for it, is something that's really incredible to have. Now I have to stay with Royal for, you know, there's some rules and regulations around it. I can't get my master's degree and then, you know, quit and go find a job somewhere else. It doesn't quite work like that. The company has to be able to benefit from my education, but they've just been really fantastic about it. And I'm so proud and so excited to have been able to do that. Even as a middle-aged professional, it had been a minute since I'd been a college student. So took me a bit to get back into the groove of that. But, you know, I'm right back into APA style and doing my research like probably many of you are on this call. And then of course we have retirement benefits, just a few more, you know, kind of interesting ones, a lot of insurance and wellness benefits. You know, at the corporate center, we have workout facilities. We also do incentives for gym memberships and in-home equipment and fitness classes, you know, and then we have all the standard things, health insurance, HSA, dental insurance, you know, a good employee assistance program for those times where you might need some extra support. And then just some other kind of cool benefits that I could speak to quickly, you know, adoption assistance, which is, you know, really cool for those individuals or couples who are looking to expand their family through adoption. There's some support there, some supplemental insurance. You can sign up for pet insurance at a reduced rate, which is kind of cool. The HR, Jody and her team really do a great job of you know, giving a lot of different benefits to Royal team members. So couldn't be more excited about all those great additional things we get that come with being a team member. And finally, just wanted to talk quick about the hiring process. You know, like most companies, now it all's originated online. All of our job listings are online. You fill out an application, and then we'll go a little old school. We might, you know, pick up the phone and call you and do some screening. And, you know, certainly as you continue to progress, if you get closer to, you know, to being considered for a position, we'll do interviews. Most of the interviews over the last year have taken place just like this on Zoom, but we have done some, you know, mass social distance in-person ones as well. It kind of just depends on the hiring manager and what we're doing. And there is our kind of email address. We had it up in the beginning, and then wanted to put this up again for you guys. If you have any questions or anything, that would be a way to connect with either Jody or myself or one of our other recruiters. So I think that's what I have. Jody, did I miss anything?
No, you covered it. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. So, well, we wanted to make sure that we had time for your questions. And since I've had such good luck with technology today, I think I'll just kind of get out of this PowerPoint. You know, if anyone wants to hop on camera, you can. You certainly don't have to, but we'd like to take the next, you know, 20 minutes or so we've got to really answer any questions you have.
So students, if you do have any questions, please go ahead and add those to the chat, and we will field those. Okay, so first questions, you talked about how do students go from potentially working part-time to an internship role?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think you're asking, you know, if you're working, you know, maybe part-time as teller, MAR, and would be interested in applying for an internship. And, you know, Jody, feel free to chime in, but, you know, in order to be an intern with Royal, first of all, you have to be a student. So you have to be, you know, enrolled in higher education in some form. And then it would just be, you know, as long as you qualify in that, you know, it'd just be a matter of, you know, reviewing the opportunities, you know, making sure that you have the skills that are needed for the position, and then going through the application process. And, you know, I tell you, we look at our applications for our internships just as we would any other application for any other paid team member, which you are. So put your best foot forward in those, you know, have your resume nice, don't have typos. I suggest a cover letter, find out a little bit of information about the position, do a little research on the company. If you are going to apply at Royal now, you're already a leg up from many other candidates because you listened to our presentation today and have a kind of an idea of who we are and what we're about. But I'd mention the core purpose and the core values, and that you'd like to work for you know, a company like that and would love to have an internship. So Morgan, I hope that kind of helps answer your question. But really, you know, anyone, you know, if they're currently employed at Royal and are a student and are interested in an internship, they, you know, certainly could apply.
Okay, thank you. Next question, what is the intern to full-time conversion rate?
You know, I don't know. Jody, do you?
I don't know the answer to that either. I've not been here long enough, haven't heard that question yet. So unfortunately, I can't answer that today. Jen, do you have any thoughts?
I do, you know, and I can just tell you anecdotally, without the data to back it up. But, you know, we've had an internship position in my department for 6 years, and we haven't, you know, been able to keep on any of our interns. And it's just because, you know, a lot of these positions are, you know, are tough, and you know, Royal is a great place to work. And, you know, as much as we may love our interns, and we do, I haven't had a bad one yet. You know, sometimes we don't have a position for you. I will tell you that we've worked very hard to help our interns find employment. I have a wonderful story about my very first intern in community engagement. She's UW Eau Claire student, you know, was desperate to move to Florida, found a job working for this company. She actually traveled the world, and she worked for this company that they would go and they would set up audience feedback boxes at big conferences. So like, you know, somebody's presenting and they want to know, what do you think about this? Kind of like the poll we did at the beginning. But this was when, you know, people were going to, you know, big conferences with 600-700 people. And so Elena would fly around and set these things up, and worked for the company that administered those. And then she got tired of always traveling, and she called me and she said, Jen, you know, I want to get back to a you know, community engagement type job. And I loved working for Royal. And do you know of any credit unions in Florida? And I said, yeah. So kind of was able to help make some connections. And she's been with Suncoast Credit Union, which is one of the largest credit unions in Florida, and is a community engagement specialist and just is doing fantastic. She's won a Young Professional Award for the, I think it's Boca Raton Chamber, and just has just done fantastic. And it just warms my heart when you have you know, a student, you know, that liked her experience and wanted to continue on in our industry with a credit union. It does. So, you know, I think, but then on the other hand, I can think of an intern that we just hired. So, you know, it just kind of depends. Sometimes, what's the saying goes, sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. And that, you know, that can be the case where it just so happens that the stars align for you and there's a position open that you're qualified for. So I hope that that was a long answer to that question. But even if we don't have an opportunity for you, you know, we certainly try to support our interns beyond their time with us.
What are the top 3 skills that you look for in college students who apply for Royal Credit Union?
I mean, I think it could vary depending on which department that the internship is in. But I think one of the top things, and I'll say, you know, the one thing is that we would look for somebody who aligns with or can enhance our experience with our core values. I think that's because Royal lives by and really is driven by the core values. I would say that's one of the most important things in the interviews that I've participated in so far is how a student either aligns with or can help enhance in that area.
And I guess I would just chime in that, you know, I think one of the most critical skills for any student, no matter what field you're going into, is your ability to communicate, and specifically in writing. You know, use your time in school to really become a competent and confident writer, because I don't care what field you're working in, you know, you're gonna have to be communicating oftentimes in the workplace in writing via email or reports or briefs or overviews on projects you're working, even if you're in a, you know, a very, you know, data or analytical field, there's still going to be times where you're going to need to be writing. So definitely make sure that, you know, that you have that solid foundation of writing. And I don't just say that just because I'm in the PR and communications business. So that's something that I'm always looking for, you know, when looking at a resume from an intern or, you know, or another, you know, potential candidate, you know, I'm really looking at how they're communicating in writing, because that's my only way to evaluate, you know, to see if I want to continue to learn more about you and take the next steps in having an actual conversation.
Next question, are there any opportunities for seniors graduating this spring?
In terms of internships?
It doesn't specify internships or full-time jobs, so maybe there's opportunity.
So kind of an answer to that would be all of our positions are posted online. So to see what's available, I would suggest going out to the website. We update that regularly with open positions, and that can change, you know, from day to day what's available. In terms of internships, I know that throughout the term of an internship, you have to be a student. So I mean, if you would graduate within that internship period, then I would say no. But if you would be a student for that whole period, then yes.
Next question, are your roles primary in-person, remote, or hybrid?
Good question also. We have some of each. We have a number of positions that are currently working remotely. We have obviously positions in the branches where we need people physically there to work with our members. We are currently working on a flexible workplace policy. So it really kind of depends on the position itself. Jen, anything to add there?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, it really depends on, you know, on what you're doing, you know, this last year, I think has, you know, has really kind of, you know, forced us all into rethinking how we shape and construct our workplaces. And I would say that Royal Credit Union is no different. We've certainly, you know, in some cases been forced to, you know, to figure out ways of working, you know, remotely. And, you know, in some cases it's, you know, in many cases it's worked out really well. And I know that from an organizational perspective, you know, we've taken a look at our work environment, and I know, you know, Jody and her colleagues have spent, you know, a lot of time really kind of taking a look at what is the future for Royal moving forward. And I think that, you know, that we all feel that it's some type of hybrid. And again, that really is dependent on position. You know, again, if you're a member account representative and, you know, members are waiting to meet with you in a branch, that would be difficult to work from home. If you're working in my department and writing press releases, you know, we probably can offer you a flexible, you know, remote work environment.
Okay. I've got another question here. What has been your favorite community engagement event with RCU?
Oh boy, I would have to say, you know, we have a large event that we've done for over 25 years called, it's now called Rock the Riverfront, featuring the Charity Classic. We always do it the last Saturday in June, and you know, we have, you know, 700, 800, 900. We've had over 1,000 some years. People that come down downtown to Phoenix Park. It's a 10K, 2-mile, and 2 kids races. And we've really expanded the event to include bouncy houses and dunk tanks and food trucks. And it's just a real family friendly event that also happens to raise over $27,000 for local charities. This year, we're going to be doing it virtually again, so we're not going to be able to have, you know, the bouncy houses and the dunk tanks and the food trucks, but we still get, you know, several hundred people that run the race virtually, and we're supporting arts organizations this year. So the Chippewa Valley Theater Guild, and the Heidi Center for the Arts in Chippewa, and then Northern Star Theater in Rice Lake are the recipients. So it's just really a cool thing to see, you know, kind of behind the scenes. We plan for the event all year, and then to see it, you know, come together, and to, you know, when we can have it in person, see people have fun and you know, do good things for the community it's just really inspiring to be able to be a part of that.
Okay, well, I think we've wrapped up our questions. I don't see any more in the chat. So I just want to say thank you for all the students who participated today. Thank you, Jen and Jody, for presenting to us today and answering questions about Royal Credit Union. It was a fantastic trek. If you are interested in reviewing the trek again, it will be posted on the Career Trek website within the next week. Just a reminder, UW Stout will be hosting Heartland Business Systems next week. So if you are interested, go ahead and register on Handshake for that. But once again, just want to give a big thank you for Jen and Jody for being here with us today and sharing some fantastic information. And I hope everybody has a great day.